Hey, welcome to Bears Banner. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Tonight on the broadcast, we have Tim Rubin, Guy Moore, Jay Beasley, and Dr. Quick Alton. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
What's going on?
Hey,
Going on?
Mira, buenas noches, señor, huh? Yeah.
Hey, we just finished another weekend of NFL football, and I was just listening to you quick. What did you say happened this weekend?
We got the pretenders out of the way. Now we can play some football. All the farce are gone now, you know. So we can start playing some football.
Right. Yeah, it was a couple of pretenders in there. I mean, the Giants, that was a nice little cute story, you know. That was the feel good, you know.
That's a cute story.
Yeah, I heard somebody compared it to, you know, when that Cinderella team make it to the Sweet 16, right? That don't supposed to be there.
Yeah,
that probably is a good comparison, right? You kind of get there and everybody happy, but when you get to that 16, usually those teams get bounced.
At least. Hey, I'm sorry. Go ahead, quick.
No, I was just gonna say like TCU in the final.
Hey,
I'm so glad you wasn't on. I'm so glad you wasn't on that show. Quick, I mentioned you on that show. I'm so glad you wasn't on that show because the whole thing would have been like. That's why Alabama should have been in there.
At least the Giants wore a costume to the costume party. The Vikings came, but they still talk about, I'm a tree. No, you're not. You're a Viking. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give him credit.
So my question was that Black Brian or White Brian? Oh, never mind. Never forgot. That was White Brian's team. White Brian's team. I'm sorry. He's up for Coach of the Year, though. He should probably be Coach of the Year.
Because he did a lot with less. He really did.
Yeah, he did. I can't agree with that. I can't agree with that. Brian Daboll went in there and did a lot. Yeah, he did.
Changed the whole culture.
That's why Eli's my favorite Manning brother. I'm just gonna tell you that. Eli's my favorite Manning brother who did more with less.
Yep.
Hey, let's start off with that game. That game was the Eagles 38 to Giants 7. Hey, Tim, what did you see in that game between the Giants and the Eagles?
Complete dominance, both sides of the ball. Offensive line, defensive line for the Eagles just controlled the game, pretty much. They had no answer for the Eagles' pass rush. And then Daniel Jones has always been more of a design run quarterback, more so than a passer. So if he can't impact the game with his legs, their offense was going to have a problem. And then they just have to, you know, pin their ears back and get ready for Saquon. So, yeah, it was just complete dominance. I thought Jalen looked good, you know. Shout out to the Qs, man. Jalen looked real good.
I'll cut it out.
Hey, Jay, what you saw in that game, Jay?
Like Tim said, complete dominance, man. You know what? Y'all know I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. Y'all know I had that whole hashtag Jalen Hurts in a few years ago when he was coming out, and I wanted the Bears to draft him, and they took Cole Kmet instead. But you know, I can say, and I like to be honest, I can get a Giants credit because, like we said before we came on the show, Daboll did a lot with less.
Yes.
Y'all probably can't even name the wide receivers on the Giants team. And Daniel Jones threw for almost 400 yards. 4,000 yards this season. Yeah. So I mean, I give Daboll his props. I give the Giants their props, but in the end, they beat the pretenders of the NFC North, and they wind up in this game, and they got dominated by the Eagles. And the bottom line is, it wasn't no contest. They had no answer. They had no answer at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no answer. What about you, Guy? What you saw in this game?
It ain't really too much to add outside of these two brothers did. The only thing I can tell you right now is Saquon Barkley's a free agent. He said he ain't trying to break the bank. So, hey, Dallas, you listening? That's all.
Not only that, Not only that, just to mention that, I don't know how true it is, but I saw a tweet earlier today where they say that the Giants actually came to Saquon Barkley with a contract offer that was worth $12.7 million a year, and he turned it down. So that lets y'all know where he's trying to set the market at.
Yeah, they trying to. I guess the thing was the language that they had is like he don't have to do the stuff like Christian McCaffrey. Christian's at what, 16 million or something like that,
somewhere in that area.
But if you take him and you know the Giants really can't afford to lose that dude. I mean, you can kind of build a lot of things around right now, but with him, he gets away and he's on the market. Kind of like
not only
that, a good team.
And then not only that, they didn't pick up Daniel Jones' fifth-year option on his contract, so he's a free agent too.
Yeah.
So what they gonna do?
Well, they're looking for more of a passer, and he's a runner.
Yeah.
It's just that
quick in this game. I know it wasn't much of a game.
Well, as Tim said, shout out to the Qs. I mean, you know, it's hard to beat the Bruz when it's a pressure situation. You know what I'm talking about? It's just Jalen Hurts. I got to give it to you, Jay, because you've been on Jalen Hurts from day one.
Yeah.
Like, he ain't proved himself. And
right.
Like, Jalen Hurts. I'm like, man, will he be quiet and say something else? Damn. Jalen Hurts is this.
He's the truth, man.
This is probably the only show where Sigma has promoted the Bruz. That's what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. That Greek divine love.
That's what a divine nine looks real fine.
Complete enthusiasm for Jalen Hurts, and that's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you can though, but just being a wide receiver though, man, it's just something I don't know what it was. Just like he said from day one.
Wide receiver.
Now I'm talking about him. Jay being a wide receiver, looking at it from a looking at a quarterback, look at what he saw, and he's been talking about it the whole time. Like,
listen, the Giants
couldn't
beat the Eagles in Madden. If you couldn't even beat them in Madden. If you signed up side by side with somebody, you couldn't even beat them in Madden. And so the Eagles this Sunday. This Sunday. We can't get along, so we might as well get it on. You talking about two of the best defenses in the league.
Yep.
I think Philly has the edge to me offensively because they do so much. It's just hard to beat.
Can I raise a point real quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I just want to raise one point, y'all. I was listening to 670 this morning. And a gentleman came on and he talked about how of the 22 starters on that team, I believe 18 are at least in the Pro Bowl or All Pro. Wow. That's insane. That's unheard of. 18 or 22 either Pro Bowlers or All Pro players. That's insane.
That's not even no political stuff.
This game. It wasn't a competitive game, but you could see how much the Eagles were ahead of that team. I mean, defensively, it really wasn't nothing the Giants could do. That defense, I mean, it's almost like they could rotate in guys to pressure the quarterback. I mean, it's guys coming off the bench that are fresh. And I guess maybe this weekend, maybe we'll see a Robert Quinn sighting or something. You know, they're probably
cut it out. Cut it out.
You'll see the money Quinn.
You know the thing about that. And the thing about that game, the Eagles didn't even break a sweat. They didn't even have to take a shower after the game. They was all right. Okay, we can just change, on the plane. You know, we can just change and get knocked on and go home. That's just how much combination that was. It really wasn't a contest. The Eagles are
funnier. They the dudes, man. The funniest thing about using the coach, like, come on, you know we can win this. David was like, okay, yeah, go. No, we ain't gonna win this, man. Look, just go on in there. When you get beat down, I mean, Eagles. It just, man, it was one of the things. I'm just looking at TV and I was just staring at TV. I'm like, Giants can't do nothing. I went and got pizza, went and had a drink. Went and talked to my daughter and my son, did all that and came back, and it was exactly the way I expected it to be.
Well, okay, we got a comment from one of the viewers out there. Thank you, everybody who's watching us on YouTube and Facebook. Philadelphia hit the edge. Their line is better and they don't give up sacks. I think they can beat San Francisco defensive backs. Okay. Throwing a little something out there.
Only one thing. My final thought on this whole game is that Brian Dable will be back. At some point with a better team and some offensive weapons, because the guys are offense. Somebody posted an offensive guru, and I said, "Hey, an offensive guru with no weapons is just offensive." But
right. But
the thing is, the man can coach, because he took that same garbage team, probably with less weapons than last year, and turned them around, because really this is the first year they've had Saquon Barkley the whole year.
The whole year.
He
was healthy. Yeah.
But I don't know. He went to the Fountain of Youth, for it was a contract year, and knew he had to play. And so
you said it. You said it right there. You said
it.
Yeah. I mean, Saquon is probably, I'm going to go back and date myself. He the best running back out of Penn State since Lydell Mitchell.
Oh, wow. Carter. You went back. He said Lydell Mitchell
stuff now. Lydell Mitchell.
Interesting.
Wow.
I believe Lydell Mitchell wore the same number.
Wow.
26, I think so.
Yeah.
Wow. We got another one. Hold on, what we have right here.
They also run the football. Buffalo needs to take a page from both teams. Well, Buffalo can't take a page from both teams if they ain't got a running back. as we go into the Bengals 27, the Bills 10, yeah, you got to have a running back in order to run the ball, and that's what Buffalo is that.
Armstrong is decent, but he's just serviceable. He's not a game breaker. They really use Josh Allen a lot in the run game, but Cincinnati was not having it. They was not having it.
Mm-hmm.
See, but what
happened in this game? I mean, a lot of people had picked Buffalo as the team that was going to be in the Super Bowl.
I didn't.
Girls at the end of the game said, "Hey, anybody who had tickets for the game that's going to be in the line,
get a refund." He's like, "Get a refund."
Get a refund. This was 1977 Smash Mouth football. Okay, let's make it 20 degrees outside. Let's put about 6 inches of snow out there. Get your sneakers on. Let's go head up. The only running back that probably would have served Buffalo well would be like a Mike Allstott type guy. And here's another thing, too, that was interesting. In this type of weather, you don't really expect quarterbacks to be able to be as successful as Joe Burrow was. Super Joe was killing them, man. I'm just sitting up here looking at Buffalo. Buffalo looked like a team that shouldn't even been in the playoffs. I mean, they didn't get beat. They got beat up. I mean, it was a shock. It was a shock in the way that they got beat. I kind of figured, it was going to be probably one of them interesting things where the Bengals got the chip on their shoulder because everybody's counting them out. But the way they walked up in Buffalo, by halftime, as much as people had this sentiment, the Bills going to come back. Well, I was looking at Cincinnati. Cincinnati looked like some wild dogs looking through a cage at a piece of ground beef, man.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Buffalo to me. Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was going to say it wasn't no surprise to me because I feel Cincinnati's pain because their whole thing is like, okay, guess what? We did win the NFC last year. Why everybody feel like AFC? Why everybody feel like we ain't worthy of being where we were last year? And that's the thing about it. And I would tell y'all, Joe Burrow, that dude is cool. Cool, Luke.
So cool.
The dude is cool, Luke. This is a guy that has no offensive line. He had two or three substitute players on the offensive line. And what he do? Cool hand Luke. I loved it. I loved it. But you know what? Guess what? When you got a dog at wide receiver like a Jamar Chase and a T. Higgins, and you got a Tyler Boyd, and you got a Hayden Hurst, my oh my, how the game can change. You gotta have some dogs.
Don't forget about Joe Mixon.
Right?
You gotta have some dogs that want the ball.
Just call me Joe Mixon.
What I'm gonna say about this game is the Bengals.
They got some killers.
The Bengals have been playing better football down the stretch than they have been, and when I look at this, Joe Burrow's really been killing it this year. I mean, he persevered through last year through all those hits. And you know what? When I look back at him, he actually played better football. I don't know what the stats say, but he played better football this year than he did last year. Now, I'm going to say the opposite. Josh Allen grew by leaps and bounds last year. To me, he flatlined this year. He flatlined this year, and he actually regressed into kind of bad habits. You almost looked at it. It was a game. It was games where you watch Josh Allen and it's not to say he's not a good quarterback, but it was games where you watched him that if he got out of that game with no pick, he was fortunate because it was probably 2 or 3 picks in every game that a defender dropped because him just kind of like forcing stuff in there. They better get them a running back in that game in the team. They want to improve, and they do need some more. They only have really big in the deep game. He missed a lot of throws. And he's holding the ball entirely too long. Josh Allen is. He's holding the ball too long, and he doesn't want to take the check downs. He's trying to always hit these home run plays.
Yep.
And the Bengals were not having that because they was all over his butt. You know, like they said, what white on rice. You don't believe fat meat, easy, all of the stuff our mama used to say.
Hey, but let me ask you, brother, something. Let me ask all y'all something because maybe because I wasn't paying attention and I was drinking water. I was always told with that type of environment that as a defense you want to play, man. It looked like them dudes was playing zone because every time Joe Cool threw a ball and got a completion, the closest dude to him was like 6-7 yards back. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
But see, I'm gonna tell you something. The thing about Buffalo is it shows up when you don't have a premier pass rusher that's going to constantly put pressure on the quarterback. Right. That's what you get. And the thing about it was the Bills were getting close, but because Joe Burrow is so agile in the pocket, he was able to maneuver around and make some plays. But the Bills missed Von Miller. They missed Von Miller so bad on that defense because outside of him, they have no pressure on the quarterback, and that's what hurt them. And don't take nothing from Cincinnati because Cincinnati dominated the game, but Buffalo on defense, they had no answer.
None.
Yeah. You would have thought that was a home game in Cincinnati because Buffalo was playing like they had never played in snow before, right?
And not only that, the Buffalo was playing at home. Yeah. So when they went up 14-0, when they went up 14-0,
it got so quiet you could hear the Cincinnati fans screaming, "Who that? Who that?" I'm like, wait a minute, what is it? It's got to be what? Maybe a couple hundred Cincinnati fans, but you hear them louder than you hear the Buffalo fans.
When they went up 14, when they went up 14-0, and then Buffalo came back and scored a touchdown, 14-7. I knew then. I was like, you know what? Ain't no coming back from this. Ain't no coming back from this.
Here's the funny thing: the Bears, Green Bay, and those teams that play in those type of inclement weathers where it's snow. Usually, those teams when you got snow at your home, it's like home field advantage for them. I'm looking at Buffalo. I'm like, where y'all playing it in Canada somewhere? It looked like they was the away team. They didn't even use it to their advantage. And it's just like, I'm just looking, but it seemed like every time Allen dropped back, Cincinnati was like, dude, you about to go home right now. Go and take this L. While you down, go on the bench. Go call up your trip for Cancun because y'all, we about to get this.
Well, that's your answer. When you don't have a running game, when you don't have a sustainable running game in inclement weather like that, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
I got 2 takeaways from this game, and what happened. And I was talking to Bernard earlier. The stage is not too big for Joe Burrow. You got to remember, 2019 champion. Jalen Hurts played in the championship as well. So the stage is not too big for them. They built it to the mountaintop. So when you put these guys, and what I was telling Nutty earlier is that the college stadiums actually probably hold more people than the pro.
They do. They do.
Playing in front of 100. Joe Burrow played at LSU, 100 and something down
some thousand,
in Death Valley. Not in Death Valley, but down at LSU.
Yeah.
But they got 100 and something thousand fans down there. So the stage is not too big. The other thing that I want you to take away is that Cincinnati's secondary is just some dogs.
Yeah,
And
they are.
They are.
They are very, very, very good. And so this game coming up next week, there's a reason that they've beaten the Chiefs 3 times in a row. Right? So and Jay just gave you the list of weapons on offense. And Joe Mixon, when you get to this point right here, you have to run the football and play hellified defense. And they did that. And they're going to do it again this week. Chris Jones is really the defensive threat for Kansas City. When you put in 3 substitute offensive linemen, instead of having them, it's easier for a 300-pounder to go forward than it is to go backwards. So if I say, hey, big fella, I want to lean on him like he's a Angus steak cheeseburger, just lean on him, right? We just want to lean. We got a back that can find a hole and make something happen. I just need you to lean on this guy right here. That's all I need you to do. So easy.
Well, think about this, guys. We talk about Cincinnati's offensive line, but remember, to have those guys as substitutes, this was the first time they've had like maybe 6 or 7 games together. They did excellent. They did excellent. In order to have that little continuity and only play that many games together in a 17-game schedule, they were excellent. They did.
Tim, guess what? The 2 tackles that played in this game, this past game, were the 2 tackles that started in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And
wow.
So it all starts too with number 9, right?
Yeah.
It starts with him and his persona saying, "Hey guys, just give me what I asked you for and we'll win." You know, when you don't look at that guy that's the leader of the team and see that panic in his face, this dude is, like you said, he's cooler than the other side of the pillow. And he's just sitting there like, "Hey, we're gonna win. Just relax. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna do this." And then they still got this weapon. That's the field goal kicker. Remember, he put him into the game, into the Super Bowl last year. So all we got to do, hey guys, we just got to get to field goal range, let our defense play. Field goal range, let our defense play. But we got one on the outside. We got another one over here. We got our old number 1. So when you got T. Higgins and the thing that I told Nutty earlier, before DeMar Hamlin got hurt, they was finna step off in these dudes' butts because they were already about to open up a can. Then they were marching on that play when he got hurt.
They sure were.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, if you go back even that game and about 3 games before, to me you could see the Buffalo was struggling in some games that they shouldn't have been struggling in. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just start with our beloved. In that Bears game, that was actually a game until halftime. And they kind of woke up at halftime like, whoa, you know,
let's get it. Yeah,
against the Bears. But if you look at the games after that and go to last week, they stole that game last week. That game was they almost lost that game last week. They pulled that game.
What was the quarterback name? I forgot. What's his name, Jay?
Who?
From the Dolphins. What was his name? From the Dolphins.
Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson.
I said that because you was the only one who knew his damn name last week.
Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson.
Jay got stats from the 40s in his head.
Struggling against a 3rd-string quarterback last week. So if you're struggling against a 3rd-string quarterback, I wouldn't have put no money against Joe Burrows this week. You got to look at the reality of a team sometime and don't get caught up in the hype. You know, the hype was they was going to be the Super Bowl team, but last week was a confirmation when you could not stop a 3rd-string quarterback who had not played. I don't see how you was going to.
But you know what? I wanted to reiterate on something that Quick said. When you talk about the stage is not too big. Let me help you understand something. I've been to the Rose Bowl when it was 100,000 people, and to give you an idea as a player, you can imagine, first of all, it's so loud. You can be sitting right next to somebody and they can scream at you and you can basically not hear them. Number 2, if you're in the top of the rafters, when you come down, you can feel the air on your back. I mean, it is so loud. And if you get players who are used to playing those conditions, and they come to NFL, it's almost like you were a team that practiced and like you were playing in a game 7 of Super Bowl. So now you go out to a game, it don't mean nothing. So when the stage is that big with guys like that, you can't rattle a dude. That's why like a lot of dogs on like offense, like defensive guys, they'll see guys like that, know where they came from, and they dogs, they don't talk trash because they know it don't even bother.
Mm-hmm. So hey, one of our Facebook users today in Bears actually said they thought Buffalo choked. Did anybody think Buffalo choked?
No, they didn't choke. They didn't choke. They lost. They got beat. They got beat.
Here's Buffalo. It's Chris Tucker in the dice game on Fridays. I won. You what? I lost. That was Buffalo. Because Buffalo, it's like that dude. It's almost like you think you that dude that you box, and that one punch he hit you in your mouth and changed everything. And it's like,
hey, real quick.
Let me just close out that conversation. Let me close out that conversation on the Bengals real quick, guys. I just wanted to say that Joe Burrow has been short of amazing. Yep. His progression, having to have his knee reconstructed after the ACL tear. Yep. He's been amazing. And if we get a chance tonight, man, we need to really talk about the golden age of quarterbacks that's coming, because
the future is bright, ain't it? The future is bright, ain't it?
Amazing what these young quarterbacks are going to be like. That's a whole about to be off the chain.
Hey,
I'm quick. That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show, man.
Hey, Joe Burrow, you call them dogs, but Joe Burrow is going out there with Pookie, Ray, Nuck, and Stone from Cooley High. It's like, you ain't finna beat me. You not finna beat me. So he's going out there playing with, you got Robert and Stone from Cooley High, Pookie, Ray, and Nuck from down here, Robert Taylor's, and they just going out there like, what's up? What's up, man?
And I will say this about Mr. Trevor Lawrence. What Tim said was spot on about quarterbacks. When he won that game, where was he at? At the Waffle House. He wasn't at the strip club. He wasn't at the club. Dude at the Waffle House, man. These cats is coming up now.
Man, the AFC, that AFC, the quarterbacks in the AFC, that's why, man, the NFC right now are some pretenders. The AFC, they got some studs at the quarterback position, man, and they all young.
Don't count out Justin and Jalen, man. Don't count them out. Hey, Justin and Jalen, they holding it down in NFC, man. They're not the only ones up there. We could go down through every roster. We can find some young quarterbacks, man, that are going to be somebody in the next year or two. They're going to be somebody.
Let's move to that 49ers and Cowboys game.
The who?
Cowgirls.
Man, boys. Hey, you should have put up 49ers against them.
Right.
Yeah.
Them. D-E-M. Them.
First of all, let's just go and get some out the way automatically. Mr. Micah Parsons, I know you're going to come back and you're going to do your thing. He's the only one I got something good to say. Dude is just like a bona fide dog. I got none but respect for that brother. But that other big bullet head dude that kind of run the ball, let me give y'all a little synopsis here. This ain't no Lindblom math. This is regular math with an F in it. Ezekiel Elliott, 10 carries, 26 yards. 3 catches, 7 yards. So we looking at 33 yards. If you go and turn the feet, it's 99 feet. You know what that is? That's 16 6-foot-tall men and a 3-foot midget. If I throw a bunt and go to first base and my drag coefficient keeps me going another 9 feet, 10 feet, I ran further than he did. You're paying this dude 6 years, $90 million to get you those stats. But the joy that I got out of watching him get blasted, as I said on that last play.
Yeah. When the Facebook users say they think Brock Purdy, he said Brock Purdy.
Oh, that's a done deal. That's a done deal.
Let's
talk. You know what? Let's talk about the game first, and then can we briefly go into that whole?
Yes.
That's my God.
He brought up Friday. How you get fired on your day off? That's all. You was building.
You ain't never lied.
But I'm gonna tell y'all so. As much as I like Jalen Hurts, I love Jalen Hurts, but I love the 49ers because I've said it on this show before. Not because I'm a 49er fan, but they are so fun to watch. Mm-hmm. When you see Deebo Samuel with the ball, it's almost like a madman possessed. Yeah. When you see these wide receivers, George Kittle with the tap 3-time catch, y'all know I was in love. I was in love. Like, oh my God, this is oh my God, this gives me shivers. I love the 49ers. They are the most, to me, they are the most complete team outside of the Bengals in the playoffs. They are the most complete team. And I love Philadelphia because they complete too. But I'm going to tell y'all, with a rookie quarterback, what they doing, Brock Purdy, I actually watched some footage. Brock Purdy played Jalen Hurts in college. And Oklahoma, I actually watched some stuff. I watched some stuff in that game today. I'm like, oh, okay, so this ain't the first time they gonna be meeting. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. Anytime you got a third string quarterback doing what he's doing, that's all about coaching. I love Brian Daboll, but I'm gonna tell y'all something. Kyle Shanahan can get some Coach of the Year love too. Because he went from Trey Lance, which I thought was a mistake from the beginning, and I said that on this show. He went from Trey Lance to Garoppolo to Mr. Irrelevant. Not just a third-string quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, the last player picked in the draft. And look at this dude, 7-0, including the playoff. And I think they averaging somewhere outside of the game, the 19 points that they scored. I think they averaging somewhere around like 21 points. That's coaching, man. That's coaching. And when you got dogs, I just keep re-emphasizing your offense needs to have dogs. Listen.
This is one of the games that I did watch that I thought as it was playing out, it could have went one way or the other. But I will say this is people are not really saying this. Dak lost that game for them.
I didn't even. I'm sorry, Nutty. I didn't even mention the Dallas part. Y'all say I was all over San Francisco. I didn't even mention Dallas. Man, please.
Dak lost this game for them. He threw 2 interceptions. One interception went for they converted to 3 points, and then right before halftime, they had a drive going that probably at worst case scenario should have ended with a field goal. Worst case scenario. It ended in an interception. So those were points that in a close game, because it was only 19-12, that the quarterback has to be able to make plays in that moment. And then that play at the end of the game, I mean, that was that game. That was dumb. That was dumb. I seen somebody run something similar like that against New England, and they put everybody out. And what was New England put all the people almost inside and just ran up and sacked the quarterback.
That was the craziest, man. Oh, well, you know what? And I put this meme out on our board today. It's like this new energy drink called Tony Romo Light. All the smoke, half the injuries, and twice the interceptions. I'm sorry, man.
And you know the sad thing about it is, like this user say, Dak is terrible. I'm not gonna say Dak is terrible. I'm not gonna say that.
Wait till it's my turn. I will.
Okay, I'm not gonna say that because if you look across the board, Dallas has talent. They got talent. If you look across the board, they got talent. Guess what? To me, it's all about coaching. It's all about coaching. It's all about strategy. And to me, what's his name? Kellen Moore. That's the offense coordinator, right? Kellen Moore, who they been talking about touting for a head coach job. He ain't ready yet.
Wasn't he a quarterback at Boise State or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Man, he's still colorblind from all the doggone blue turf out of Boise State.
Wait, what you have, Mike?
Well, let's get off into it. As I stated before, the actual platform is not too big for Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy played against Jalen Hurts in Oklahoma and won. He also beat Texas that year and won. So that Mr. Irrelevant status is only to us. He doesn't feel that he's irrelevant. You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So as being the last pick in the draft, he doesn't feel that he's the last pick in the draft, as they compared him to Tom Brady, who was the 6th pick, 199th overall selection in that year that won 7 Super Bowls. I'm just saying, that's my boy. Brady's my hater. But anyway, so when we get to Dak Prescott, if you remember watching Scooby-Doo and they had those mysteries and stuff, and they snatched that mask off that guy, snatched the mask off, it's going to be Tony Romo up under there all over again. Tony Romo cannot win a playoff game. And I get so sick of seeing him being a commentator talking about what teams need to do to advance to the playoffs. Dude, how the hell do
you don't know because you never advanced. You never advanced, so how do you know?
That to me, his play holds the Cowboys back.
Mm-hmm. And you know what?
CeeDee Lamb is grown, man, and just they got weapons. Ezekiel Elliott
got him
out after he got his first contract. And when Tony Pollard got hurt, I was like, "This game's over."
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody that bet me that all these Cowboy fans, y'all gonna stop. One year you just gonna stop and just do like I do and just say the Cowboys ain't nothing. And
I still say, I still say, no matter who fault it is, I still blame the owner. I still blame Jerry Jones because until you get out your own way, this team ain't never gonna be nothing.
Mike McCarthy has to go.
And I tell people, if I was a rich man, and owned the Chicago Fire, I'm going to hire a GM that know soccer. Right. This dude, Jerry Jones, is not a football guy. Just because you got money and own the team doesn't mean that you get to make what you do. You do get to make the choices. But guess what? You don't make the right choices. And I still say, until Jerry Jones get out of his own way, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be talented, but they're never going to win anything. And
you know what Jerry Jones is?
It's proof.
Jerry Jones is that dude that go to strip club and only throw money at the chicks with bullet holes.
hey, that's what I do. No,
I want to tell you a little bit about Dak, and then we can move to the next game. Dak regressed this year, and he regressed a whole lot. I mean, really, last week was and it wasn't really against a good team, but last week is the first time since he been back that he didn't throw 2 interceptions in the game. Right. I think it was every game since he been back. He had thrown 2 interceptions, and he kept true to form yesterday and threw 2 interceptions. I've never really been a Dak Prescott fan. I have. Okay. I think he's going to be one of those players like Kyler Murray that the team is going to regret signing him all that money. I know they already regret signing Ezekiel Elliott all that money. I mean, them stats that guy just read, come on, you might as well just cut your ties with him. I mean, any of us on this panel could get 7-8 yards rushing. I mean, that's nothing.
That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful because backs, man.
And the sad thing about it is Dak Prescott cap hit next year $49.9 million. Ouch. Uchi, ouch. $49.9 million.
Yeah, between him and Ezekiel, they could probably come close to buying a franchise.
Right. Can you put that other comment up? That just the media tries to control the narrative. Brock can play from Josh Allen getting the pass. Joe Burrow is the truth, and Mahomes is Mahomes. They struggle with giving Hurst some love. Funny how the brothers who can get out of the pocket, they have trouble. Lamar Jackson, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I mean, that's the narrative. That's the narrative for the NFL. Guess what? It's a changing of the guard in the NFL, and some people don't want to recognize the changing of the guard. But the bottom line is, as we talk about these mobile running quarterbacks, is when you can pass and you can run and you can be the defense and do it all, you're a quarterback. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're just another weapon that your team have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a great point because I think that's one of the reasons why we've been seeing so much banter about trading Justin Fields and that he's only a running back.
Yeah,
that's a great point, Jack. Thank you for saying that because I feel that his legs just make him an assignment for one more defender. And that's one more defender that can't make a play because they're assigned to spy Justin Fields and run around the field with him all day.
Yeah,
but you know, I'm sorry, guy. Real quick, it just make me mad. It just make me mad when they tell me Justin Fields is a running quarterback. No, the hell he's not.
No, he's not.
No, the hell he's not. Guess what? Justin Fields threw 40 touchdowns and 3 interceptions his senior year at Ohio State. But guess what? Everybody that he was playing with, they're in the NFL. Chris Olave, he's over in New Orleans. Garrett Wilson, he's over with the Giants. His whole offensive line got drafted that year. They're in the NFL. He was playing with NFL caliber players. So don't tell me Justin Fields is a running quarterback because he's not. This dude can play the game.
Yes.
If he gets some weapons and an offensive line in front of this kid, he can play the game. So don't tell me he's a running quarterback. I'm not trying to hear that.
Let me say this about Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a mercenary, dude. Look at what we had last year and look at what he did. Give him an offensive line. Give him a legit WR1. We keep Mooney. You know, Komet's doing his thing. He gets some protection. Y'all go completely look at that dude. He's an assassin. It's like, okay, this dude got 4.4 speed. If he got protection, the consistency and the accuracy that he has on throwing balls, if he has time, I think next year, if we're able to solve our offensive line situation, a whole lot of these pundits call him the running quarterback and all this other stuff, they're going to be fanboying their behinds off because the dude he's the real deal, man. Just need pieces.
I mean, just think about it, fellas. If Justin had an offensive line, if Justin had the offensive line that Jalen Hurts has, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, he'll throw you a 60-yard bomb and it'll land like right here.
And ain't nobody catching Justin in open field with a 4.40. Nobody's catching him, man. I mean, it's as simple as the known commodity for the unknown commodity. Why would you go with the unknown? That makes no sense. Bryce Young is undersized to me. I'm sorry. That's a little guy. Guy.
You know, and if you look
I like TJ, but I still would take Justin over CJ. I would still take Justin. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look at Justin's college career, like Jay laid out the stat. It'll be different if Justin Fields was known as a running quarterback in college, and I'm going to use Lamar Jackson as a point. Lamar's sophomore year, he ran a whole lot in college, right? And so the thing was, we may convert him to receiver. I think that's what the talk was initially. Let's convert him to receiver because we don't know if he could pass. Okay, right. That's totally different than Justin Fields, who was actually a guy that was putting up those numbers, and then every once in a while he'll run just to, sprint some in the end zone. So he could pass. And so it's a matter of just adjusting to the speed, getting some weapons around him, getting better protection. And only one thing I did hear Luke Gessie say that I thought was interesting. He said, I've just been working with Justin to learn how to let go of play. And he said, I don't mean as far as when it go bad. It just he wants to make that play that's called.
He wants to make the play.
Reset.
And so he's locked into that play. And he's like, man, just move on and take the check down. That guy wasn't open. Just move on. So that's just a matter of what we was talking about earlier, right? That at times I know, Jay, we were saying, was he overanalyzing what was going on? So that's just the mental side of sports too, right? Where all of us who play sports know that a lot of it is mental. It's probably more mental than physical.
Absolutely.
Can I make a quick point? Because I'm guilty of that. I was one of the fans that was saying he's staring down receivers. He's got to think faster. He's got to analyze faster. He has to go faster. Let me say this. When you don't have a line to compound the fact that you're trying to understand what you see and it's happening at light speed, it looks much worse because they're not even giving him 3 or 4 seconds. They're not even giving him that. So I think, it's easy to pass blame and to judge, but we have to look at all the factors. And I think when you do that, you understand that Justin is a diamond in the rough. All we got to do is surround him with weapons or more weapons, because the backfield is pretty decent. Receivers, offensive line, and let Cole Kmet do what he does. It's okay. But the offensive line, the game is won or lost in the trenches.
In the trenches.
Offensive line,
both sides of the ball.
You have to have superior O-line and D-line play. You have to.
I'll say one last thing about Justin Fields. When he's had time to pass, dude is accurate. I saw we were talking. I was fanboying over him throwing a back shoulder fade to Mooney. And Mooney's on the tip of the sidelines like this, and he threw it, and it was right here. And I said at that time, it's some dudes and some stud quarterbacks that couldn't throw it. He's got everything that you could ask for as a quarterback. All he needs, if he gets an offensive line, there's a whole lot of people going to see what this dude really is.
Hey, thank you for tuning into Bears Banner. Please hit the subscription button. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to Bears Banner. We're talking about the NFL Divisional Playoff rounds this weekend. Hey, let's move to the fourth game, the final game. The Chiefs and the Jaguars. Chiefs win this game 27-20. What's your thoughts on this game, Jay?
I actually picked the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl, but of course I'm rooting for the Jaguars. Like, if they can pull the upset, I just love upsets in the NFL, and I love stories that actually make it where it's like, okay. And then when Mahomes got hurt, I was like, okay, now they got a chance. But guess what? Patrick Mahomes come out here on one leg, man. He did the whole what's the NBA guy name? Somebody
Willis Reed.
He did the Willis Reed. This dude hopping, handing the ball off. I'm like, okay, you know what? But he was able to get passes off and score touchdowns in the second half. And I'm just like,
hey, Jay, shout out
who they are.
Shout out to Wolverine Chad Henne, Dustin.
Cut it out.
Not the dust off of him at 39.
And 37 years old. And 37 years old.
He's like, we know you haven't played in 20 years, but hey, man, we need you to come in and do this thing for us. And the cat did it. He did
what a backup quarterback is supposed 2 years in a row. Quick. He did what a backup quarterback is supposed to do. Everybody want to love the backup quarterback. They're like, oh, why he came in, he better. No, he's not. He came in and did what he was supposed to do. He held down the fort until Mahomes was able to get whatever numbing on his high ankle sprain, which is a 6-week injury, that he needed to get back into the game. Patrick Mahomes, he's the MVP. He's the MVP of the NFL, man. And I picked them to go to the Super Bowl, but I was rooting for the Jaguars because I want to. I love upsets. I love upsets.
Hey, but you know what? I'll see you one, and I'm gonna raise you a Bernard. You were spot on when you talked about it being mental. Just imagine as a player, your stud go out like that, and you look at him on the sideline, and he's straight up mad, and he comes back. The psychological part, first of all, it's like, man, the air out of the bill, but you know what? We can't let our guy down. Let's play. And you look up in the second half, and he coming out there. Everything that happened bad in your mind, it's like a reset button. When you got a dog team like that,
and not only that, you playing at home. And not only that, you playing at home. So he coming out the tunnel and Arrowhead going nuts. Everybody knows Arrowhead is one of the craziest places to play football. Arrowhead going nuts. This dude coming out the state.
But is there really any doubt
I have a question about that catch with Kelsey? That was a great catch. But Mike, maybe you can answer this as a referee. I thought it was kind of peculiar that guy didn't even touch him at all. Do you think he was concerned about hitting a defenseless receiver? Because it seemed like he was coming in and he didn't even touch Kelsey at all. It almost looked like he was trying to pull up and missed him. It was just weird because it looked like he should have been able to touch him.
Not in the NFL. They don't think about defenses, receivers. They really don't even call that.
Okay.
Helmet to helmet. They don't really call none of that stuff in the NFL. Targeting. Well, you really don't see targeting, defenseless player, helmet to helmet. It be some guys out there taking some shots. They tried to call it yesterday on a screen pass to somebody. I forgot what game it was, and they waved it off.
They waved off,
saying it was he's not defenseless. He was
He's
running.
defenseless, exactly.
Yeah, but you don't really see that. Now, what he thought about was, I got to go hit this grown man. Travis Kelce, and this might hurt. Like what your parents say?
This gonna hurt me more than
hurt you.
So that's probably what he was thinking about. Like, man,
a business decision.
To go back on this, I remember this might have been my sophomore or my junior year. We were beating Alcorn 20-6. We was beating Alcorn 20-6. McNair wasn't playing. He had a high ankle sprain. And all of a sudden, we hit a crowd go crazy. We had Alcorn. I look over there, and that was when Alcorn had them gold capes. It was cold outside. They had the gold capes. And all of a sudden, Superman throws the damn cape off. And you see that 9 coming onto the field, and I'm like, we might be in trouble now. Dang. And we ended up losing 27-21. McNair wasn't even playing. He came off the sideline, man, and just started giving it to us. I'm like, damn, man, we had these dudes, man. We had them. And that was my junior year. It might have been my sophomore year, because my junior year, he was up for the Heisman. And they whooped us so bad that year. It was really bad. It was like 48-24. And McNair didn't even play after halftime. He was over there in street clothes at halftime.
With a flask.
When you talk about the will of a player, and it gets everybody else involved, and the guys that you go into the huddle with is looking like, I know this dude hurt, but he gives us the best option to win.
He gives us the best option to win. Absolutely.
And you looking like, hey, now I gotta take up some of his 111,
right,
and play a little bit harder for him, because if we lose, it was all for nothing.
I gotta play a little extra.
I don't want to be the guy that loses the game, and our franchise came out here to play for us. No, I don't want to be that guy. But shout out again to Michigan's Henny for coming out there and doing what the Wolverines do. They just take care of the business.
All right, that's enough. All right, that's enough now.
Hey, Tim, was this an impressive win, or you had some concerns watching this game?
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I don't think there's any question that Mahomes. What else can you say about him? I mean, he's the man as far as we know it. Like, if you could create your own quarterback and just design him any way you wanted to, he would be Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he is a However, I am concerned about the next game, because he's going to need some mobility to stay clean facing the Bengals. He's going to need
his own shot.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more than that, because eventually it's going to start to hurt. It's going to swell up too if he's not careful. So
now.
If we want to talk about the next game against the Bengals, this is the Bengals' chance once again to beat Cincinnati. To beat Kansas City to go to the Super Bowl with an injured Patrick Mahomes. Because now, to me, what you do as the Bengals is you play man-to-man defense and make him throw the football. Make him run the football. Can he run the football on a high ankle sprain? I don't know. But right now, what you need to do is you need to drop 8. You drop 8 in the zone and rush 3 and have him beat you with his legs.
Well, they used to have this saying, not so fast, my friend.
Not so fast.
What we fail to realize is that who did the Bengals beat last year to go to the Super Bowl?
The Chiefs.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City. Who was the AFC's representative in the Super Bowl last year?
The Cincinnati Bengals.
So why are they the underdogs? Let's think about this for a second. Wait. Hold on. One at a time. Working with a monster now. Hold on. With more weapons than they had last year, and with a better offensive line that they had last year, with a better defense than they had last year, this might be ugly. This might
And
not be
again,
The line is Cincinnati by 1. The line came out today in Vegas. Cincinnati is favored by a point.
And again, like I said at the beginning of the show, y'all, everybody forget Cincinnati is the AFC reigning champion. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
You know
They
who
don't
they remind me
forget
of?
about that.
And I'm gonna go ahead and show this break.
Let's go to these. I think you got some feedback, guy, in your mic.
No, that's that Basil Hayden.
Okay. Let's go to this with the quarterbacks real quick, and then we go to who you got in this game coming up. So let me pull this up. Okay, let's look at this real quick, and then, like I said, then we're gonna go to who you got in the game. Quarterbacks this weekend. To me, Joe Burrows was the top of the pack this weekend. He went 22 of 36, 242 yards, 2 TDs, no turnovers. Jalen Hurts, 16 out of 24, 154 yards, 2 TDs, no turnovers. Patrick Mahomes, or should we say Pat? His mama said call him Patrick.
His name Patrick.
Patrick, I'm sorry. 20.
Let me call her right quick so she can call into the show.
22 of 30, 195 yards, 2 TDs. Trevor Lawrence, 24 of 39, 217 yards, 1 TD. Throwing that many times is a losing effort in these games. You'll be able to see that, right? If you're throwing almost over 35 times, you probably lost this game other than Joe Burrows. Brock Purdy, 19 of 29, 214 yards. This is interesting. No touchdown.
0 TD. That's impressive. That's impressive right there. That's really impressive.
Very impressive. Josh Allen, 25 of 42. That's a losing effort. 265 yards.
And 0 touchdowns.
Touchdown, but he threw 1 INT. Dak Prescott, 23 of 37, 206 yards, 1 TD, and 2 INTs. Daniel Jones, 15 of 27, 135 yards, 0 TDs, and 1 INT. What we can see is there's only one team who quarterback didn't throw a touchdown that still won, and that's the 49ers. All other teams, if their quarterback threw no touchdowns, they definitely lost that game.
You know who Cincinnati reminds me of, man? They remind me of like the 74 Steelers because they used to go up against the Raiders all the time. And your boy they used to kill them. They used to get them, and it was always real close. And then like 75, everything shifted. It was like the Oakland Raiders, and Steelers won, and they start running them off. That's what Cincinnati reminds me of. You know, they're that AFC team. It's like that kind of AFC type of feel where it was like a straight up fist fight in the alley. Let's bring some brass knuckles. You know, your mom and them, make your mama stay home and all that stuff, and let's do our thing. I am so looking forward to this. My birthday's on Friday, so my birthday gift is to be able to sit up and watch football all weekend and drink water.
Okay.
And my thing, you know, Cincinnati,
What is this water, man? What is this water?
Let me know who y'all got. Eagles and 49ers, and tell me why you got them. What you got?
Eagles and Bengals. Eagles and Bengals. I was going with Eagles in Kansas City, but the Bengals, man, what I saw Sunday, I saw some like dudes where it's almost like if as a team, is that me? If you can look in their eyes, they look like they're not even there. So I'm taking the Bengals and Eagles. Let me cut this off.
Well, guy, you must have read my mind because I'm the same way. Now, why? I believe that there's going to be a problem in Kansas City, and Patrick's not going to be able to move that well. I'm sorry. It's going to come down to that. And we talked about the turnaround in Cincinnati and what Zach Taylor has done for that franchise. as opposed to Marvin Lewis. Turn it around completely, and they know how
That's
they
a
know
very
how
good
to
point,
play.
Tim.
They got some great coordinators in Cincinnati. Great, those guys are
That's a
great.
very good point,
So the
Tim.
Bengals are
Very
going to win that game. As far as the Eagles, we already said it. 18 of 22 All-Pro or Pro Bowl players who are starters. That's unheard of. That's ridiculous. They are just a machine. Might be a close game because I think San Fran has a lot to play for and they're proud, but the Eagles are just better. I'm done.
Okay. So we got 2 Eagles and Bengals. I guess I'll go interject while I'm talking. I'm gonna agree with y'all. I'm gonna go with the Bengals and the Eagles in this game. I think the Bengals are, man, offensively they're just clicking on all cylinders. I think the Bengals defense have been looking sharp. I think they're gonna get out after Pat Mahomes, and I think that ankle and the way they could get after you is gonna backfire. And if they could take Kelsey out the game, which is hard, I don't see how the Chiefs win that game, but never know. Eagles and the 49ers. And this is a tough one because I like watching the 49ers play too, Jay. Fun team to watch, but I'm gonna go on with the Eagles in this game because they're well-oiled machine on defense as well. The defensive backs are playing well. The defensive line is playing well. Man, they was just showing out. They even just gave Jaden a couple runs just to let you know I'm back, and he was running people over. So I'm bit with the guy and Tim. What you got, Mike? We come over to Jay to wrap it up.
Well, Jay gonna take San Fran, but I ain't taking them. First of all, you got anytime you got a Breeze leading the team, I'm taking them. The Qs don't lose. That's all I'm gonna say right there. The Qs don't lose.
There they go. There they go.
Philadelphia, Darius Slay, Riddick, the boys are hungry. And the problem is going to be this. They're going to match up very well. We saw Philadelphia has a similar defense to the Cowboys, which can limit San Fran and what they're trying to do. I don't think that San Fran's going to be able to beat them on the pass as much as we think they will be able to. They probably get a couple rushing yards here and there. But offensively, they showed on ESPN this morning where the Eagles basically ran 6 plays and had 4 or 5 different variations off of 6 plays.
Wow.
Right? And they showed the reads off of the play because what they had to do was kind of change their offense up when Gardner Minshew was in there. Because of the actual RPO, you had to change your offense up a little bit for Gardner Minshew. Now, let's get over here to the AFC. The Bengals have beaten a healthy Patrick Mahomes the past 3 times. Not with this team. Somebody just posted that the Cincinnati offensive line is hurt. Jay just mentioned that the 2 tackles, so 2 of the guys that are fill-ins basically played in the Super Bowl last year. So that kind of offsets that. They were there last year. They played in the Super Bowl last year. So we can offset that. We got one guy who's filling in that's not healthy. These guys have been starters and started all last year. So they got game experience. It's not like you coming off the bench and bringing up some practice guy to play in that spot. So the Bengals defense, Kansas City's defense is not that good. They're not that good.
That's
and
the worst defense they've had.
Yeah, to match up with Pookie, Ray, Nuck, Robert, and Stone,
and Lil John,
it's going to be a task for them. And this guy that's going to be quarterbacking is just going to be sitting there like, guys, let's just go get it done. It's hard to beat a guy like that. This guy's been in the league for really 3 years, but really 2 because of the injury. Nothing has rattled him yet. Nothing's right. Even when they were in the Super Bowl last year, he wasn't rattled.
Right.
And you got Jamar Chase, who can score
Dog.
any time,
Dog.
anywhere. T. Higgins, anytime,
Dog.
anywhere. But what's going to be interesting, the key to this game is going to be Joe Mixon. You heard it here first, people. Joe Mixon is going to be the key to this game and how they can control the line of scrimmage.
And the clock.
Yeah, that's going to be the key to the game. You heard it here first. Go to Vegas, put 200 on the Bengals. I told you right now.
But you
Jamar
got
Chase. I'm sorry. He draws
But I
those.
need your money, dog.
Y'all know. I was gonna say, y'all know I've been telling San Francisco all year because I just think they just such a fun team to watch. His offense is just so fun. It's just so fun to watch. But y'all know, again, I said before, I'm a Jalen Hurts guy. So I got to go with the Eagles. Him, Devontae Jones, and AJ Brown, Miles Sanders. I mean, that whole crew is good. It's good. So I'm going with the Eagles, and I'm going with the Bengals because as much as I said that the Chiefs were the team to beat, the Bengals have the upper hand. They have the upper hand, especially now with Patrick Mahomes hurt. I've been saying all year the Chiefs, but the Bengals are the AFC champs from last year, and I got to go with them. So it's going to be, to me, the Eagles and the Bengals.
Okay. Man, I don't know if we all ever agreed on other teams like this, right? We might agree like on the Bears or something like that, but all five of us actually agreed that it's going to be the Eagles and the Bengals. And I know the national broadcast is definitely going to have something different than what we just said, but let's see what happens. Like
there was one announcer today that picked the 49ers, but everybody else picked the Eagles and the Bengals.
Okay.
I mean, but you know what? You can't root against the 49ers because the 49ers on the roll. And I again, like I said, I love the 49ers. It's just a fun team to watch. Kyle Shanahan, I don't know who feedback that is. But Kyle Shanahan's offense is just so beautiful to watch. It's so beautiful to watch. But I gotta go. I gotta go.
He's definitely been the quarterback whisperer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, thank everybody who tuned in tonight to Bears Banner. So we stay tuned in this weekend when we get to conclusion and do the post game show for them. This game. Peace. Miss McHugh. Hold on, there we go. Oh, that's my video. There we go.